Another pedal board time. This is a small little board I threw together when I had a gig that I had to fly out to last summer. So just some bass sounds, just all the stuff you need, nothing you don't. And this one is in a nice little Pedaltrain Nano board, Nano Plus, Nano Plus board. And starting underneath with the power supply. Good old Truetone One Spot Pro. This is the CS6. Low profile, so it fits right under these little boards, no problem. In fact, Pedaltrain offers a bracket to install this on here, or vice versa, I can't remember. Either way, it goes on with no muss, no fuss. And good selection of outlets. You've got 2 at 9 volt on 500 milliamps, so good for high power like Strymon or you know, other kind of high draw pedals. And as you can tell, I like Strymon stuff, so that's good for me. And then you've got a switchable, you've got 4 switchable options. You can have 2 at either 200 milliamps on 9 or 12 volt, and then 2 at 100 milliamp at 9 or 18. So plenty of flexibility there. Pedaltrain offers these cases in either soft or hard. I opted for the soft case. You can fit a cord in here or straps or whatever. I tend to run my cords in here. And then when I flew, I have a mono gig bag, and the straps right here attached to the mono bag, I just used some carabiners, and it was nice, safe, and secure, and let me roll with my guitar and pedal board right on my back, and my hands were free for my carry-on. So good deal. It's a nice compromise size. The tuner, you got to have a tuner. I did look for a used Polytune when I was throwing this together because I love the size and I really like the functionality of that tuner. But honestly, you can't go wrong with the Boss tuner, and this TU3 popped up for a really good price. So what's not to like? I don't use half the features in these things. The only thing I do is if I'm not playing in a dark club or something like that, is you just hold this button down for 2 seconds, and then that increases the brightness of the LEDs, so you can actually see this thing out in the direct sun. So other than that, that's the tuner. Next up is the MXR Phase 90. This is their quote-unquote custom shop hand-wired script version. It was fine for a little while, however, I noticed at higher volumes and higher gain settings, with the pedal disengaged, I was hearing some phase bleed through. So that's where you actually get a little hint of that whooshy phase sound, even though the pedal's not engaged. So I sent it off to Analogman and had them do some mods on it. So in addition to adding an LED so I know if it's on or off, and doing a true bypass mod so the pedal's actually off and out of the signal when it's off, they also added an external 9-volt power supply, because these particular ones come only with a battery like the originals. And I elected to have a mix knob here. So turned down, you're actually taking out some of the phase signal out of the dry signal, and then turning it up, you're adding the phase, making it more wet. So straight up, there's a detent here, and straight up is the stock Phase 90 setting. But that really helps because sometimes these pedals can get a little overpowering. And then, of course, I did the Phase 90 in 45 toggle mode. So with the toggle up, it's your standard Phase 90 sound. toggle down, you've got phase 45. For a drive pedal, this is the Palsy Audio Tim V3, so it's the version 3, and this is like the big brother to the very popular Timmy pedal. This one is a fantastic sounding drive pedal. It does quite a bit of things, so it's really the only one I needed on a board. For starters, it is, like they say, truly transparent, so it doesn't color your sound like a mid-hump tube screamer or something like that. You can really kind of set your bass sound and then go from there. So that's kind of what I tend to gravitate towards in a drive pedal, something that's not obnoxiously, you know, in the way. But starting here, this was, say, for these are my settings for like a show I did where we were covering a lot of kind of heavier stuff like Guns N' Roses and things like that. So notice where the gain is at. This pedal has a lot of gain. It'll actually do like overdrive, but it's fantastic sounding. Let's see, clip switch. So it's got 3 different stages of clipping. You can have symmetrical over here. Asymmetrical. The center is kind of like a asymmetrical higher headroom open setting with less clipping. The bass and treble are cut switches or cut knobs. So all the way up is flat, and then as you reduce, you're cutting signal there. So it's not like a regular pedal where, you know, a regular pot where like maybe noon is flat, and then you're adding or reducing. So these that's how those work. You got a high cut switch here, which I never touch. In the middle, you're flat. And then if you go to the right, you're cutting 3 decibels at 1.5K, so just a little bit of high end. And then on the left, you're cutting 3 decibels of 3K. So, you know, I've got EQs, which I'll get to in a minute, to mess with that stuff, so I never really bother. Then you've got a boost side of this pedal too, which feeds into the gain stage. And so if hitting this, not only you can increase your volume level, but it also increases the amount of drive. So This was just what I used for a little solo boost, and you can actually shape the sound of the tone of the boost going in there, so you're actually boosting, you know, higher or lower frequencies. And a nice feature of this is it's also got an effects loop in here, so send and return. And the effects loop is only engaged when this side of the pedal is engaged. So if you wanted to like put your delay through there, so like when you're hitting a solo, hit that and the delay will come on for that, or an additional drive pedal, or whatever, you know, the sky's the limit. So this is a XTS graphic mid-range or mid-range graphic modded EQ. So what they do is they'll take the frequencies and make it a little more guitar friendly. So as you can see, this one goes from 400 to 4K. And then on my Analogman-modded one, it's just 100 to 6.4K, which is the factory GE-7 parameters. But, you know, like Analogman, XTS goes in there and upgrades the caps and you know, the components. And on these GE-7s, the older ones especially, a lot of times if you drive a lot of gain into them, they get noisy and hissy, and so that just reduces it or eliminates it completely. Finally, I've got this Dispatch Master. It's a delay and reverb in one, and so you can have it either your reverb all the way off and delay only, or you can increase the reverb and turn your delay off, or have them both together.